when do you feel like a game for Lena isn't free? Like, what do we have to look out for when she can have a difficult time?
Gap close and chain stun before you're able to pop that BKB. You have no innate tankiness. You know, you're an intelligence hero. You don't have something like the Dragon Blood on an Elder Titan. You don't naturally get a lot of armor. It all comes from your abilities. And you think about what people are
10
liking to
seconds
go.
remaining.
It's like, you know, maybe a couple of Null Talismans into a Boots
5
of Travel,
seconds
into
remaining.
a BKB and a Silver Edge. Like outside of the BKB, which if you're not able to pop it, it doesn't really matter for anything. You're getting what? 220 HP, but other than that, not much of anything, right? So I feel like now that Lena doesn't have the capability to just get immediately pounced on, she's going to have a much better time.
Now you have to go up against FBZ's Tidehunter, which is a scary prospect. I'll combine it with the Grimstroke. So, what do you feel like the roles right now are for Boom? Is anything being revealed?
I would probably just say that it's going to be Tim's 4, Mushi 5, maybe Monkey King 1, Tidehunter 3. So
10
they're
seconds
leaving
remaining.
Yopage's hero for last. Or, you know, this Monkey King could still switch. The
Five
actually,
seconds
probably not.
remaining.
Probably not going to lane Monkey into Alina. So,
Radiant
yeah, I'd
team
say the only
battle.
hero that's still yet to be picked is their mid laner. They're going to go the Ursa, one of the bigger counters to the Tidehunter. Don't hate it at all. It's also
Dire
a great
team
way to be
back.
able to get those Phantom's Embrace units off you. Some burst potential as well for an IO, which you do need. So yeah, I don't hate this Ursa pick at all. They've even got the Mars ultimate that's going to enable you in a lot of these team fights in the form of just being able to close the gap, so you don't need to go these super
10
high
seconds
mobility
remaining.
items early on, and even just the setup for the laning phase, right?
5
The
seconds
Nightmare into the
remaining.
Earth Shot plus a few right clicks can take down a hero pretty quickly. So I think this time around we'll probably see an Ursa go into
Radiant team
maybe an Orb
back.
of Venom just to secure that kill against something like a Tidehunter.
Would you like to see Boom now swap the lanes and maybe go an aggro try versus the Ursa?
Maybe. I mean, it feels a little weird, to be honest. Like Monkey
10
King, I
seconds
suppose, can trade a
remaining.
little bit better against it, and you know, to have more. If
5
it ends
seconds
up being a
remaining.
tri-lane v tri-lane, Boundless Strike, Stroke of Fate, they're both really good. IO doesn't really do that much though in that sort of situation. So I feel like Execration would just look to focus the IO if that was the case.
We're looking for Yopage's pick coming up at the moment. Again, probably some. Looking for probably some magic
Dire
damage
team back.
and another way to start fights. They don't have too much control as well. We saw the puck band out for Execration, which honestly the Ursa matches up well into.
Radiant team
Void
pick.
going to. Okay.
So what do we got here? Storm Spirit. Don't hate it.
Dire
Yeah,
team
it's
pick.
not an easy game. They're gonna go Ember. Okay. So
Okay, I was wanting something that was a little bit more. I mean, I suppose as a Storm Spirit, you're a little bit more susceptible to like the Light Strike arrays in the laning stage, and Yopaj feels that he's going to be able to juke them out with a sleight of fist. So that's what I'm going to be looking out for in the mid lane. Is Bob going to be pump
10
faking a few of
seconds
those to make sure
remaining.
that that doesn't happen? But later stage, again, it
5
just fulfills the
seconds
same sort of
remaining.
thing, kind of, that a Storm does, right? You're going to be able to close the gap really quickly on the Lena. You're going to be comboing that up together with the Inkswell on the Grimstroke, and then if it's a good fight that breaks out, you've got the IO Monkey King that are going to be relocating in. So I don't hate this draft from Boom. They don't have as much, though, if Execration go on them. It certainly is something where Boom needs to be the aggressor this time around.
I'm trying to see what they can go for their last pick here for BTZ. I really want some instant stun to at least give them prowess to jump the Ember, because right now they're lacking that. But I feel like if it goes someone like a Lion, then if Ember gets BKB and Ags down the road, then you are just going to absolutely tear apart the double support that Execration have. Like, they're way too squishy, don't really have a defensive mechanism. So
You may now
they'll go into the
select your
Dark Willow
heroes.
route, a nice combination with the Mars. So there's some team fight prowess, also a lot of kill potential as well with the Bedlam.
Yeah, especially against the Grimstroke, right? One of those heroes that doesn't build much in the form of defensive. So if somehow BDZ is able to get on top of, I'm assuming Tim's, that's going to be playing this Grimstroke. Actually, it's Mushi. Never mind that. So it does provide a lot of kill threat just with the Bedlam dealing an insane amount of damage, even just at the level 1 ultimate. So I don't hate this Execration draft. I feel like they've set themselves up a lot better for success this time around. But man, Boom, their teamwork, their cohesion was really good in game number one. It's hard to go past them as a prediction.
I think I feel like it might just come down to the laning stage, because we saw Boom yesterday and also in game one, just when they have a lead after the lanes, and quite often they get a goddamn lead with how good they are, they really look unstoppable. So do you feel like Execration have a stronger 5-man to be able to win the lanes, or can Boom come out ahead there?
I feel like Execration have at least two stronger lanes right now. Third one is kind of up for debate with the Mars and the Dark Willow. I mean, I suppose you could do things like spear into the brambles, which is always nice, and even spear to break the tether, with CTM and Tim's most likely going to be laning together. But I feel like Bob should have a good time against Yopaj. The big thing is, if they're not going to get kills with this Bane Ursa lineup against a Tidehunter, then I feel like, kind of similar to what we saw in game number one, it's going to be a fail for them. You know, they need to make sure that they're getting at least 2 kills in that laning stage.
Yeah. It does seem like they have a much easier time with being able to find pickoffs across the map. I mean, your Lina can rotate with the Mars, a Bane can potentially set up, Willow has solo kill potential. For Radiant, like, you need to rely on a Ravage potentially on FBZ, or, you know, Mushi needs to combine with the Grimstroke. So I feel like
smoke on smoke.
Yeah.
We got some observer wards looking to be placed down super early on. Who's leading the way? Looks like BDZ's holding on to one, Bob's holding on to the other. They were able to get it down there with the extra movement speed from Tim's first, and they're even going for the wraparound here on Boom. Happy birthday? Whose birthday is it?
this is your job to know.
I mean, he didn't say who, you know? Someone needs to respond.
No one's
to it. Where's the
responded.
tips?
What's going on? So maybe this is just you know, something he says at the start of each game, where he
30
feels like this will give him the edge.
Maybe it's getting them talking about something other than the game, you know? Maybe in Discord they're like, hey, whose birthday is it? You know, and then if they were to run into them, it might catch them off guard, that split second.
I see. So it's the mind games. Yes, yes. The next level strats. Okay. Well, we'll see if how Mob's going to fare on this Earth. So like we were saying, it's definitely going to be the favorable matchup versus FBZ's Tidehunter. But they're still just chilling at the moment. They are not going to swap up the lane. So FBZ, he's actually started with a pretty aggressive set of items here. You know, sometimes we can see the boots very early on if they're looking to dodge the Ursa.
Oh, look at this Tino,
Yeah,
though.
see.
He's got that sixth sense. He's saying, I'm not walking up onto that high ground, and smartly enough, you know, he's going to be bullied out a little bit here by Tims and Mushi. Maybe try and force him to use that TP down to the lane, which would be a nice little bonus for Boom. He'll eventually just walk there because they know how important it is that they do protect FBZ. Like I said before, it's a strong lane, although he's gone into Brain Sap at level 1. I don't hate that, because it's probably level 2 that your big kill potential comes once Marb hits that that timing where you can get 1 point into the Earthshock.
Is this a lane that might be a little bit more different than we're expecting, though, with the Ursa tie? Because I feel like Io can always swing a matchup one way or the other.
It can, but then you can just go on the IO instead, right? It's not like he's got a ton of sustain, and then once the Tidehunter's left on his own, then he's obviously feeling a little bit more of the pressure. Right now, Marb is suffering in terms of what he's being able to actually right-click and secure here, so RR's had to claim a couple of those last hits.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this. Get on the aggressive front. The Ursa, not strong through the early levels, and he doesn't have the greatest damage as well. 52 base, so CSing underneath the tower is not easy, and I mean, you see it's kind of showing right now. He's only got 3 last hits, so this start for Boom, a very solid way to try and help secure the top. They had level 2, they probably would have found the kill in RR, but unfortunately just continued to soak too much experience between the two of them. As we'll take a swing down to bottom. How's this looking at the moment for CTM? He's also sitting very comfortably in regards to the last hits.
Yeah, on top side, it was some good play. Oh, they're actually looking to go on to Marb here. Are looking to try and make a bit of a turnaround, but you're not going to have the damage needed to be able to take out this Io with Marb being on the back foot. Salve already having to be used as well.
Yeah, you just see how aggressive they can get. That overcharge with the Gush, it's a lot of right-click damage, and Ursa, he's got
RR's
decent...
done a good job, though.
Yeah.
He's been able to pull this one back. He's got a double wave to be able to, pull the wave a little bit under the tower. RR will try and play a bit more on the right side so that there's no experience being soaked with the Ursa if he can help it. But Tidehunter doesn't really care. He's got a Wisp backing him up, and he's just able to take the full double stack and the creep wave without too much worry.
XctN? My guy's just in the river. He's trying to help out Yopaj at the moment. He went for a very early boot, so he's not really missing too much as well, considering this creep wave's still outside the tower range. So I guess putting a lot more emphasis on trying to help the Ember.
I mean, sure, but I feel like you're missing a little bit there. And now you're kind of in a rough spot on this top side. All right, he has a couple of mangoes and he's got the magic stick. Even looking to go for this hard camp pull here. Should look to get it off, but again, this is against a Tidehunter. The Tidehunter doesn't really mind standing on top of a creep wave, especially if you've got the Wisp helping you with the headdress, with all the regen. He's even got a Fairy Fire and a Salve, so yeah, Mob's going to get a little bit of farm, but Tidehunter is as well, so another good lane coming through from FBZ when it really shouldn't have been.
Dire's structures are fortified.
We are seeing, at least in this mid matchup, that the Lina is having a favorable early time, but Ember is someone who can make a lot more rotations, where we saw Bob play for kind of his own game in the previous one. So we'll see if that's going to be a similar case.
Tino's doing a pretty good job on the bottom side as well, has to be said. Sitting 21-4 right now, making sure to, you've got a similar attack damage compared to the Monkey King, but of course you can get bullied out a little sooner. So he's willing to use the Spear of Mars to harass XctN as well as secure those last hits for himself really well.
I think they still actually have that small camp blocked up. So maybe with the factor of not being able to reset the creepy equilibrium has really enabled Tino. He went for a super early boots, and in fact, yeah, he's just rushing phase boots. So recognizing the importance of mobility in this lane versus someone like the Monkey King.
Yeah, don't hate it. He's got a slight level advantage as well when compared to the Monkey. Of course, that comes off the back of him staying in lane when XctN was going on that excursion down into the river. Still a much quieter game than I would have been expecting for Boom. For Execration at this stage, I probably would have been hoping that there would have gone
maybe
at least
might have our first blood now, as both the supports look to combine up with the Ember Spirit in the mid lane, and that they will do so. Tim's finding first blood, and guess you were saying the game's starting to be a little slow. No, let's get our first kill.
Yeah, definitely not expected, and that comes off the back of Tidehunter having a very good lane. He's already level 4. He's got the extra armor and strength from having the Soul Ring, Boots of Speed. He's got plenty of farm right now on FBZ, which gives the Wisp the freedom to be able to rotate through and make that sort of stuff happen.
Sorry, friends.
Honestly, maybe should have been predicting it a little bit more, because they do have this deep observer ward down here next to the Radiant Secret Shop, so could have seen the Wisp trying to make that rotation happen. RR's going to spot out Tim's as he tries to get a few stacks going. It's blocked up anyway, so he's not going to get any.
There's still a bounty, but yeah, it doesn't stop the camps from being sacked there. So Tim's finally being able to find their first of the game. I mean, it's like you said though. I mean, they've secured they've secured the Tide lane super early on, and now it's just enabled Ira to do whatever he pleases. We saw the the emphasis has been putting on stacks, but I guess this is still a lane where Ursa is going to trade. Like once you're 1v1 versus the Tide, he's not going to shove you out.
Well, you say that.
Yeah, with an IO there. If it's 1v1, I think they're okay. But if Tim shows up, then that's a different story. And I think that's like something we were speaking about the Undying in game 1 on how that should have done much better in the laning stage. And, almost similar here in this second game where it feels like the Ursa, I mean, they just played the lane exceptionally well on Tim's and FBZ. They knew their timing. They used it to perfection.
For sure, FBZ plus the siege creep. I mean, he's only got the 1 point in the Kraken shell, so it's not going to tank up all that much.
It's going to be his first rotation down bottom. The early level 6, he hasn't been having too free of a time mid, as Bob really destroying him in the last hit department, but he's going to mirror the movement down bottom. Finds a nice kill himself and will look to turn on XctN. is still holding the Laguna Blade just in case they can get another kill, and now simultaneously up top. Then would look to try and deal with the Iris. They're going to be FBZ the target. This will give him ample time to drop the Ravage, and well, instead they'll be the ones to target the support and also get the first tower with that catapult wave.
I mean, more people in the world need to know about FBZ. He is just so solid at, like you said in the previous game, a huge range of heroes. His understanding of when he can look to commit further with the likes of the Ravage. As I say that, Cast a Curse coming into play. Nope, he's going to get helped up by Tim's rejoining. So even though he's got those 9 Stack of the Fury swipes up, he doesn't really care.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Okay. Well, I mean, where can we really see the plays start to be made here from Dire? Is there a hero we have to keep tabs on for them to maybe start to pick up some of their kills?
I kind of feel like it has to be on the back of Tino's Mars, but it's not exactly easy, right? Like even the Ursa, if you're quick enough, you can hop out of the arena, not be too concerned. Sorry, not hop out of the arena, but on the Monkey King, right? You've got the sustainability to just drop down your Wukong's command.
Got this high ground ward. Once again, Bob, he's going to mirror the counterpart position too, but recognize how deep they are, and that's not a territory where they want to fight. It might just cost them BDZ's life. Tino's hiding the wings as well, just in case this fight further breaks down to the river.
Guess who's farming? BZ just on the top side.
My guy's chilling.
Sitting well in front on the net worth as well. He's having a fantastic time. Going a little bit of an unorthodox build here with the Yule Scepter. It seems like they're specifically targeting the Ursa this time around, wanting to make sure that, you know, if you pop the Enrage, you're not actually going to have that safety net, where it's one of the few things that status resist isn't going to be a factor. Mushi, when they're going on the D-Ward mission, not really enabled by any of the cores, so it means that they're going to punish him for that attempt.
They're just going to keep trying to play around top. They have swapped up the lane. CTM will be in trouble though. See how long he's going to stick around. Bob recognizing he needs a way to be able to get rid of that tree dance escape, and they can keep the damage ticking on. They should be able to find him in the tree line unless CTM...
Surely.
Oh my
Surely.
god!
He's rooted.
He's out! Oh, the sidestepping through the brambles. That was a nice play.
I feel like that's just a little bit... They're getting a bit too keen, right? They're like, we really need to get this kill. He's on his own. And I understand that there's such a small window to be able to make those sorts of things happen. But BDZ, I feel like he needed to be there. You know, if you get that Urn of Shadows in onto the Monkey King, he can't jump around in the trees like that.
Yeah, now mid lane. Fourth from Boone looking to overwhelm Tino under the tower. They recognize how much sustain they have, and they showed multiple heroes up top, so they felt super safe with being able to make that aggressive dive, and once again utilizing the catapult wave for their next push. Bob, this might be a bit too deep. He's done an exceptional job to be able to nightmare FBZ, but it's not going to matter. As soon as he awakes, dropping the Ravage, he's going to look to play deep underneath the T2 tower. I think that would signal the retreat. So they've used a lot just to burst through Lina. Even Tino finally going to show up as well, dropping the arena combination just to clean off Mushi. This will give enough time for Boom to reset their positioning, and without the catch, everyone should make it away.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
It's a very heavy commitment only to be able to take out a support when, again, it's Bob's life that you end up losing in the process. Really nice evasive moves as well from Yopaj to make sure that he's not giving his life up as well for an 11-minute tier 2 tower dive. Tino, he's in a little bit of a vulnerable spot here, actually just walking on up to them without his arena available. And with this rotation coming through from Mushi, this could be Tino dying again.
Well, lacking some of the control.
Dire's structures
They had the Grimstroke there with the Inkswell, but maybe Yopaj just feeling, look, I don't have any remnants, I was low on mana, can't take the risk.
And this is huge for Execration, picking up a tower at a decent timing. That does leave BDZ now vulnerable though, behind the tier 1 as once again just surrounding him with no retreat opportunity. But yeah, we saw there was big issues from Execration with being able to take objectives in the last game. It just didn't give them much of a map to play with, but at least now having bottom claim, it should open up some extra farming opportunities for their cause.
Well, they got a tower. Mushi, he's been able to quickly get off that Phantom's Embrace.
At least it's enough time for the rest of Boom to think if they want to swing on over.
Nice
Yopaj
Fiend
needs
Script.
help and he's not going to get it. A Fiend Script instantly,
It's not the heat.
as Ursa can have the follow-up damage, and that is a big kill to find as well, because we were starting to see Yopaj pick up some momentum on the Ember.
Yeah, for sure. Able to secure that one there.
Radiant's
And
bottom tower
I mean, it
is
just
under
shows like
attack.
it feels like the top tier Lina players. Not to say that Bob isn't that, but in this series against Boom, he's been way too pressured for my liking. You want to be using that Laguna Blade immediately, every single time it's off cooldown. Mushi ends up giving his life up for Marb, and it feels like Execration, someone's made the call to kind of change up their positioning a little bit. They're tired of Boom just having the freedom to run at them whenever they want, and so they're like, well, if they're going to run at us, at least they're going to run at us on their side of the map, and then not immediately be able to convert that into an objective. It also kind of punishes the fact that they don't really have any defensive observer wards as well, so the fact that an Ursa is farming in the Radiant jungle isn't going to be punished.
Yeah, I really like how Execration are positioning right now. I mean, you recognize that FBZ, his Ravage just came back up, so they weren't really looking for a fight, and Dai have very good pick-off potential. I mean, Bane can combine with the Ursa, you've got like a Dark Willow Mars combination with Tino's Blink. They're going to look to reveal it down bottom if there is a power rune, but which I'm surprised they really haven't smoked with Tino at the moment.
Maybe just wanting to clear out this this little bit extra, perhaps waiting for even the Diffusal Blade so that the Ursa can get involved. You know, it's a Diffusal Blade Ursa, right? You can't just sit back and farm. You're not going to have the same level of connectivity as something like a Monkey King, something that's able to scale a little bit more. XctN with the good map awareness as well. Gets away from him.
Simultaneously, Bane was also trying to pop a smoke heading down bottom, but
from your mistake.
more Execration, like you were saying, they were trying to hunt CTM up top. It's really felt like, I mean, whatever game he's in, his map awareness of when he needs to get out and stick around is really perfect. As mid lane, they're going to look to transition this to another kill on Tino. And Yopaj is just, once again, once you're able to get on top of these heroes, really make it difficult for them to survey the fight and get the perfect ability off. Now, it's making a lot of time. They have to drop the observer ward so they can at least get some form of information. Now they're going to look to turn.
Really
Arena
well.
drop inside the choke point. They've soul binded them together, so Mob and the Ursa has to stand their ground. Yopaj still has to be cautious. Doesn't have too many remnants to play with. FBZ's looking to show up to the party as well, but the Ravage getting dropped. Bob was able to sidestep the remnant tentacles, but still, they're looking to prioritize down Mob. They won't do so successfully.
Gotta be careful here. Sleight of Fist coming back off cooldown, able to just get away. That was so close to being a really nice fight for Execration. It was a really good Arena of Blood, but unfortunately, Tino was just running away at the same time that Mars was just trying so much to get closer to these damn supports to be able to take him out. So that extra 1 or 2 seconds ended up turning what would have been really nice into just a so-so trade coming through from Execration there.
Do you reckon you can kill FBZ right now? Hood, Yules, I don't know. This guy's pretty goddamn difficult to kill.
He is there. They're looking for another smoke here. The previous one was dodged out because Dark Willow's courier got killed on the way to her, so they saw the path that it was moving in. CTM was able to get out of the way. This time around, though, he doesn't have the same sort of luxury, so he's going to get gone on first.
Yeah, they're swinging on over. They weren't able to find the perfect placement with that Wukong's to set the trap. So yeah, Mushi gets the observer ward, but still is going to end up falling here. But it's a much closer game. Only 1,000 net worth lead at the moment from Boom. It's not a game like we saw previously where they could really continue to grow their lead at a steady rate.
Yeah, for sure. And it's very clear that these teams obviously have so much competitive experience against each other in particular, so they know how each other play. It's why I really want more opportunities for teams like Execration and Boom to have that international experience, so that, you know, these other teams that might not know that, you know, every single game Boom's going to try and play on your side of the map might get caught out by that a little bit more.
Triple fire.
We're going to see a huge fight soon to break out by Roche. I mean, Ursa, a hero that really relies on taking this at a pretty rapid rate, but we're already 17 minutes in and there has been no thought at all from Execration. But finally, they're looking to play around the area. A lot of vision nearby, hand in hand with Bob as well, considering he has completed the BKB. But I mean, RR's positioning up on the high ground. It's going to at least pop a lot of the damage at the moment. Meanwhile, on the backline, Mob just assassinates the Io. That's a big target to be able to bring down. But now with the Wukongs throughout the choke point, there's no control. So instantly Execration, the Delta split. Tino's going to look to jump in, the arena drop. But once again, the answer from the Ravage, is this going to be enough to force them back and protect CTM? He's trying to play around with the Jinku stacks. Tim's buyback as well is enough to keep CTM alive. As now they can deal with the Bane finally. That was the target they went on at the start. And now they can end it with that kill.
And they were really taking a long time to kill that Bane. Again, it's another one of these fights where unfortunately RR isn't able to get off that Fiend's grip. It was great patience as well by FBZ. Both offlaners holding their ultimate until the very last second. I was like, where's the arena? Where's it covered? They're all around this little choke point. But unfortunately, that hesitation allowed the Ravage to come off cooldown for FBZ, and he was able to counter that.
Oh, they're going to make a jump on him. This guy's tanky, but Bedlam and DD, which will be purged off now, and Saving Grace, Tim's, what do you know, once again, right place, right time, and all the Boom showing up to the fray. A lot of ultimates on cooldown, but this might just favor Boom as they get a quick 1-2 punch, bringing down both the supports, but that's answered with the Wake. They'll drop the Brambles. No escape from the Ember. Looks like the rest of the Boom get out.
Close there by Marb as well. Nearly cut CTM out of the trees, but he was able to get on the way. But this game doesn't seem as one-sided, nowhere near actually, as game number one. You know, they've got not this gigantic win condition that they're playing around in the Spectre. It just feels like it fits their playstyle a whole lot more to be trying to get a bit more on the offensive.
And it's nice as well, because you're not at a threat of, can we scale late game? Like, I feel like an Ursa is always someone who, again,
you can man fight.
You can man fight, but like, you're pretty reliant on second Roshan. But you have a win condition in Bob's Lina, so it gives you some confidence with being able to go to the later stages.
For sure. He's gone the similar sort of build that we were kind of expecting, as all Linas tend to do these days. Couple null talismans, boots of travel, BKB, going into that. Actually gets the soul, the haste bottled up. And then just into the silver. So it still makes him squishy.
Nice pick up on Aya. He bought back previously, so he can't rejoin the fray. A Soul Fiend script, but no damage follow-up, and that's going to cost RR his life. Sticking around for a little bit too long, but do they want to pounce to terrorize the hold them through? They've waited for the Wukong to expire, and now they're going to instantly jump to kill off the Monkey King at BZ.
Ravage!
A massive Ravage, but completely wasted as the damage not there to follow up. Yopaj is making them work. These consistent slides, such a nuisance, but where's the opening for him to jump afterwards? Finally, he'll find a straggler off to the side. He might not even get the kill before BDZ finds the life of Mushi. These guys are purple maze. BDZ picking up a kill before he will die.
I don't think he actually got the right click from the Shadow Realm off there, so might not have even needed to give up his life for the kill onto the Grimstroke. But, well, it was a one-for-one trade. I think, again, Execration can be somewhat happy with that. And the big thing that happened in that fight is Wukong's used, Ravage used, and you've got a lot of people respawning very shortly. Your ultimate cooldown's much shorter. So with the Laguna Blade up in a couple of seconds, with the Arena of Blood available in 10, and Ursa respawning, you do have this window where you can look to go to Roche. Right now, Marb, he's farming on the bottom side, just trying to get Ursa.
BKB on cooldown for another 10. Tino has Arena up shortly. Beautiful placement. Stuns up the Monkey King. This Ember is going to be a bit more of a difficult kill, but you know, that is now all ultimates wasted on Boom, and they're going to have to look to get out of the area as they know they've relocated out to safety. So Mob, there's a huge window of opportunity to jump Mushin. I mean, let's see if they walk into Roche. Oh, I would. Now you got the DD, yeah, 100%.
Even getting close to that BKB on Tino as well, so providing him with that little extra layer of survivability, particularly against this this Ember Spirit. It's gonna be very nice for him.
Eyes on Yopaj. Let's see what it can do. Tide's gonna give them the vision. Mob's falling low, so they have to commit for the Roshan, but he's able to find the Aegis. So now with the second life advantage that they have on the Earth side, he still has to pounce out of the Wukongs. They recognize we can't take the fight to the denial of area. They trade just the life for the Aegis, and that's all they get. So Boom have to be pretty happy with being able to, you know, find the kill without having a lot of the ultimates.
Yeah, for sure. That does give the BKB over to Tino as well. I mean, the fact that they were able to nullify the effect of that first Roshan is still pretty good, though, for Boom. Like, sure, they miss out on the gold, the experience, but you don't really have a Roche taking lineup anyway. And they didn't have the Ravage. Let's remember that as well. So the fact that you were able to trade 1-for-1 is pretty good, as Marby's going to run straight on into FBZ, who has Ravage this time around, and CTM's connecting.
He's actually going to look to jump instantly. It's a rough life as a support when you're versing the Monkey King.
They got him.
They've got the stun. BKB not going to protect him, but still, at least now that it expires, they've got the speed connection. Mob's damage is plentiful, and FBZ just makes it away. But simultaneously, they also lose Mushi as well. I did not know the arena stun went through BKB if you destroyed the tree.
I mean, he's knocked off a tree. That's just the whole situation, right? He gets rid of the trees. That's the big condition, I suppose, for the stun. What is it called? Staggered? I'm gonna have a quick read here.
This is another Mars we're seeing going to Refresher. Who was it yesterday? I'm trying to remember. Your memory's better than mine.
It was yesterday, yeah.
But I don't remember who we saw do it. Masros?
Was it FBZ?
Masros,
it was Masros.
yeah.
It was Masros.
Radiant's top tower.
This is fascinating. Oh, what is your read now after seeing those two games yesterday where Masros did go Refresher?
I think it's, like I was saying during the cast, it was much more about, it feels like the first arena is to force the BKBs to be popped, and the second arena is the one that you're actually going to do damage. So more and more as these teams get higher and higher skilled, it becomes less about the mechanical side of things and more about the mental. Yep. So how quick are you going to be able to make them panic? You know, put them in an uncomfortable situation.
Tino. It's gonna be okay. He's got some team hiding in the wings. A great ward as well. So his game feels like it's not really going to look to slow down as Dire smoked up. We'll see what the target's going to be. They've got a great ward up top.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I have to say, like, Tino, his arenas have been pretty on point this game. Just being able to create a little bit of space.
Smoke up themselves. FBZ. It's on the front line. They look to jump again. Yopaj such a nuisance right now. Without any instant stuns, it's going to be so difficult to deal with the Ember, but a 1-for-1 as the support's both falling. FBZ looking to find the angle, is going to get just that. A Ravage onto 2, but the follow-up lacking once again, so with the ultimate completely wasted, and now Tino's got the jump. But the backline Tim's isn't enough to be able to keep the Ember alive, so without Yopaj, they're going to have to reset the position, but they won't have an opportunity to do so. CTM still hiding himself out in the Wukongs, but that extra armor about to expire with the life getting claimed.
And it's another arena that, like, this game, the fact that Execration are in a, I don't want to say a commanding position, but a strong position in this game is all off the back of Tino. So many times, I think 4 different times, he's been able to bait out a perfect use of the Arena of Blood. Just when, you know, CTM is getting a little bit too ballsy. It's been him every single time. It was very quick reactions as well to be able to catch out Yopaj, who is the person that allows them to basically ignore the Bane. You know, his job is to make sure that Bane and Dark Willow are distracted during the entire fight, and well, poor Gripstroke ends up going down again. But even forcing out like an early-ish BKB from Bob is the main role for Yopaj right now. So the fact that he's been able to nullify that on this position 3 Mars goes to show how good a player he is.
FBZ, let's see if his fingers fast enough. Ooh, that's not the tree you want to connect on, Bob. Still continuing to follow him, but that's all they'll get out of it. Just a little bit of damage, mana burnt, so it might force FBZ to have a trick back to the well. We've seen the importance so from either team looking to jump supports. Bane and Io seem to be the prime targets. He doesn't see a support at the moment, so he's going to jump the Monkey King, but the Io is still not there at the moment. That's going to cost the life of CTM.
I appreciate wanting to use the Boundless to be able to keep this tower away, sorry, the tower push away, especially considering
Radiant's
you
middle
didn't have
tower
Glyph and
has
it's a siege
fallen.
creep wave, but it feels to me like Yopaj would be much better at doing that task, or even, you know, Mushi on his Grimstroke, right? He's got the Stroke of Fate maxed out instead of the 3 points into the Phantom's Embrace, so he's definitely got that counter-pushing potential, even holding onto the Nether Shawl as well, but instead it's the core that puts himself in a little bit more of a vulnerable position and pays for it.
Is there a team you'd feel a little bit more confident with, you know, being in their shoes at the moment in this game?
Well, Tino is looking to make a bit of a backstab. I would still say Boom. Even though it's a 5k net worth lead going over the way of Execration, it feels like if there's not like the perfect ultimate from Tino, and if it feels like CTM's Monkey King doesn't get caught out at the start of every single team fight, I really do feel like they've got the potential to be able to come back into this one on Boom. Like, just so much has gone right for Execration in the past 10 or so minutes.
Yeah, I feel like even though with how far behind they are, I think you're definitely right with the fact that Tino is... These arenas have been doing such an incredible job to win them these fights. And I think they're going to have big issues as well with the Ember Spirit, considering they haven't really got the greatest initial lockdown. I'd love to see a Hex. I don't know really who's going to get enough farm to pick that up. You know, maybe Marb, once Basher is completed, they could have a bit of a window to deal with Yopaj, but... Wait, Remnants into a Bramble.
I think they want to go on this right now.
Oh, they
like,
will.
You know,
FBZ,
the Masters
another
man.
jump onto 4. This time he's got the follow-up. Both supports instantly evaporate. Oh my lord, FBZ. How many Ravages has he gotten onto multiple heroes? And that's an instant 5-man smoke now.
Yeah, that's the power of information right there. As soon as Tino, like one of the few mistakes that he's made, showed on the bottom side of the map, unfortunately for him, he's showing underneath this observer ward again, so I will show to the lane, but it'll cost him his life.
Just gonna go for a BKB TP up. No answer. See what they can get out of the map, though.
Yeah, they take back the outpost, they use a BKB charge. It's not the worst, and with that double kill, sure, it's only on a couple of supports, but it's the move that they needed to make to be able to come back into this one. Most importantly is Yopaj. He is 150 gold away from picking up his Aghanim Scepter, so I believe he has that one completed in addition to his level 20. He's also got that Quickening Charm as well, so tons of key items coming out right now for Boom on the back of that double kill.
Bob? Oh, this is the LSA on Tim's. Unfortunate. I know we were just speaking about who would feel probably more confident with playing in this game, and yeah, I think for Execration, the dude jumped the IO. They even get the courier. Oh my god.
He didn't even mean to do it. It was just on top of where the IO was. So you've got 3,000 gold on the courier that was killed by the God's Rebuke. So sometimes luck is on your side.
No Quickening Charm as well. I mean, everything is not gone well now, and oh, they're so lucky that Roche is up in a minute 40. If that was a quick respawn, then I was just going to say before that fight broke out that I think Execration are actually really reliant on this second Roshan. You know, Ursa's always been, we spoke about it earlier, that you're a little bit more comfortable going late game because of the leaner win condition, but I've seen Boom execute these fights, at least in particular FBZ with his Ravages, and I think he's now going to have 2 to play with shortly.
Yeah. He's pretty damn close. 100 gold away. You finished it up on the opposition position 3. Tino a little bit closer to picking up that level 20 though, so you would assume that he's going to go for that Spear of Mars stun first before any kind of bulwark damage reduction.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Especially if he's able to get that Aghanim shot. I think that's going to be the next key item for him on the Mars, just to make sure that he's able to get a ton of team fight control happening here. Has to be careful with where he's positioned though. He's away from the rest of his team. Yeah. That's what the power of some of these deep wards do provide. You've also got some placed down here by Execration inside the lane, so you'll be able to catch people out that might be jumping around in the trees. So again, it feels like this entire game,
Execration smoked up. They're going to be careful. FBZ drops the Ravage, but once again, there's no fall.
Tino's on his own.
Arena from Tino locks back the extra assistance that they were requiring from FBZ's Ravage, and they won't give him another opportunity for the secondary. Refresher completely wasted, and there was a huge window for them to take the fight.
Used as well.
Yopaj gets out to safety, but he remnants straight on top of the Bramble Myers. A slight not successful as they find the spear connection. He's brought down. A huge fight for Execration as they're looking for more blood. Tino, stalking Tims. TP's out blindly up on the high ground. He'll make it, but oh, the granddaddy prize of Roshan.
Yeah, for sure. Things gone really well here for Execration. Didn't even use the second arena there either. So baited out the BKBs on the Monkey King and the Ember Spirit, and they were still able to get the lockdown on the Ember Spirit after the fact. Like you mentioned, great use of the Brambles there by BDZ to be able to catch him out. Combos together into the Light Strike array. And, yeah, things going from good to even better for Execration right now, who, I mean, on the league table, they're sitting 2-7. So if they were able to bring this one back to 3-7, they would feel a lot better about their chances moving into the later stages.
Okay, they have a huge window now. Abyssal, Aghanim Shard, Aegis on Ursa. They could definitely take this game with that Roshan. I mean, you have now... I was seeing that they didn't have the greatest way to kill off the Ember. Like we were bringing up before, that I felt like they needed a Hex and some way to deal with him, and now they have that. And imagine how different those fights could have been with the Aghanim as well and the Ember.
Yeah, for sure. Now you've even got the Aghanim Shard purchased up by Tino as well. So that combined with double arena, combined together with a level 20 talent, it's going to provide them with so much potential for lockdown here, as they're going to push in, just go slowly on the top hand side. They've got great vision around this sort of area, the triangle, and it should be a very easy tier 2 tower for them to be able to pick up. Question for Boom is, what are they able to get in return? How close are they to some of their key items? Because what's going on here? Didn't Ember Spirit buy the point booster previously? Because he's got all of the other parts in his inventory now, but not the point booster.
He just tried to buy that with the courier.
And it just died.
Yeah, it just died. So he's had to make the long trip away.
I really thought he bought it previously.
It was the 3 other components.
Yeah.
My guy's now got the Aghanims. Got that 20 talent as well, so we'll see how this will come into play. I mean, this is just a completely different beast now. Effectively, 4,200 net worth added, quickening charm as well, and the Ember works so effectively. But you have to jump the backline, it feels like, for Yopaj.
You do, but sieging isn't exactly easy for Execration either. So seems like what they're waiting for is a pick off from someone around the map. So it's going to be very important with how Boom are looking to try and position themselves. They also could have just been waiting for this refresher orb that is now off cooldown for the Mars, just that second. So they're looking to try and take a little bit more map control back to prevent the safe places to farm, to force Boom to make a bit of a riskier move.
Feels like Execration almost feel forced to play around top and mid, especially with how their observer wards are set up, as they'll instantly kill off Mushi with the dewarding expedition. And I love this from Execration, just making sure they protect their observers down bottom CTM. It's enough time to pop the BKB, but Ma might be able to cancel this with a bash. He does! Oh, beautiful timing. Tims says relocate. Not in the nick of time.
Yeah, if he was a little faster, maybe he would have been able to get off the mech and the magic wand and cause the IO to bring him to safety, but I was thinking that might have been a mistake for Tino, actually, with coming up to that side of the map. You know, him revealing would have opened up a huge opportunity for Boom to try and make a play, but instead
they're gonna make the jump as well on the Tide. The breaks out, great placement of the Bramble again, man. This Dark Willow, such a nuisance. Maybe if BDZ doesn't get that Bramble, then Yopaj can instantly jump Bane and cancel the Fiend's Grip, but just that placement from BDZ enables another pickoff.
And then, I mean, I said sieging high ground was kind of difficult. Well, not if the Monkey King's dead, not if the Tide Hunter's dead. Bob is free to just sit back, machine gun down these towers. He can even swap in the energy booster if he wanted to, just for that little bit of extra mana, while he waits to uncombine them into the Aeon Disc if he does get jumped on. It's a lot of free objectives, though. Don't even need to push the wave in. They can just look to start right-clicking it down. Every second counts when you're up against a Monkey King who's back alive in 10 seconds.
Radiant's top tower.
It's like
is
they have to give up potentially a double set. Tino. It's gonna miss. Spear will still clip at least one of the supports, but once again we see the Ursa jumping further and further. This time Tino! The spear onto two of the cores. The damage follow-up's not there at the moment. They've got to be cautious how deep you dive, as the defensive Wukongs will push them back. So no one's down at the moment. But they're going to be cautious. Here comes the tide. The Ravage at the ready. Once again, FBZ to drop. But there's no follow-up. Another huge Ravage to look to turn. They won't give him an opportunity for the secondary. As Execration wipe the Emperor as well. He's forced to buy back, but they've got all 5 still.
They got all 5. I still kind of feel like they need to back off a little bit. They'll make the safe hurt play, not needing to go up onto the high ground. They're just going to push that tier 2 on the bottom side. A lot of ultimates used. It was a really great arena again by Tino, making sure he caught both cores as well with a spear follow-up. The issue was, it was a even better soulbind coming through from Mushi there. It linked together the Ursa and the Lina, and they were on either sides of the Ancient. So that it was actually, the Ancient was too fat for them to be able to move around, so they couldn't get that follow-up damage in. Still though, very good outcome coming through from Execration. 2 lanes of Rax. They'll be able to get that outer tower as well on the bottom side, opening up the bottom lane of Rax, and you got the buyback out of Yopaj as well.
Wait, is BTZ? Is he going to go for the solo kill? He's got a crap load of damage as a support. CTM's in trouble. He gets a little bit of life still back, but that's not enough as Bob swings on out of nowhere. A big kill for them to find as simultaneously bottom under siege.
They caught Yopaj.
They have Bob. Has he got the damage? Couple of crits. Needs to be lucky. Not enough.
Ends up using himself to make sure that those last few right clicks from the Lina didn't end up doing him in, but all the while, Ursa's like, all right, I'll just keep pushing. Why not? I feel like they need their full complement here. Like, they'll get megged if they don't, you know? Ravage up in 45 seconds. Monkey King around that same sort of
Bob's
time.
not going to give them the opportunity. Another deep dive. And one buyback's out. Second buyback's out. FBZ needs to jump, otherwise they'll reset. A beautiful sword bind. Ravage off the mark. He didn't blink.
He was in the trail from the Mars spear. He cancelled the blink dagger.
I mean, have we seen a whiff from FBZ this game? It's felt like he's always getting 3-man plus Ravages, and the first one.
Money to burn.
That's Megas now too. That's a big factor here for Execration. They might lose RR as Yopaj gonna jump the naked support alone, but he does have Bob hiding the wings. It's gonna look to pounce. Bob still has A on disc. Even actually just gonna force the BKB. Need one with the backline. Mob's also going as well. Everyone keen on Execration, looking to find pickoff after pickoff, and that they will. Monkey King a dieback, Ember the next on the agenda, the Hex to start, and down they go. As Execration, a much needed map victory as well. They'll tie it against Boom.
Very nicely done. I was giving Boom a lot of credit for being able to come back into this game if Tino just stopped playing like an absolute beast, but he didn't. He was able to just use the arenas to perfection, both to obviously lock down people, enable the Ursa, but also just as like it blocked off the supports from having any kind of impact, right? Like Mushi wasn't able to get in. He wasn't able to get these clutch soulbinds off because he was always placing them around these choke points, and just literally having walls in your way without a BKB means that these supports were effectively useless. So Tino, for mine, didn't have the greatest game one, but boy, did he redeem himself this time around.
Oh, without a doubt. I think we saw from both teams, I mean, the impact that was able to shine through the offlaners. But like you were saying, Tino, game one was a little bit rough. Game two, though, he showed up. And maybe this is Mars is something that you have to keep our eyes out on, because he felt very, very comfortable on this year. 8-2 and 16. The amount of clutch arenas we saw breaking the trees was such a huge factor for them to limit CTM in this game. And, again, keep in mind, this is a player who's pretty much played as a position one through a majority of his career. So So, switching up to that 3 role, and also Execration played with Marb as a stand-in. They didn't have the full roster. Boom didn't have the full roster as well, their coach playing, but Execration were not looking too good in regards to standings. I mean, I think before this series, they were 2-6, sitting at the 8th position on the table. So they're going to jump up to 3-7 now. I think they played a lot of their difficult matchups as well against the top of the table opponents. So being able to actually tie a series like that has to give them an immense amount of confidence.
Yeah, I mean, the only team I think that they've got a really unexpected result against was Army Geniuses going down 0-2. But other than that, it's pretty much par from the course considering who they've been up against. I think they'll be very happy with a 1-1 considering they were playing with Marb this time around instead of a Butt. And yeah, it's crazy the amount of work that Tina was able to do. I was just looking at the actual numbers. So he's holding a timeless relic at the very end. That plus the level 20 talent that increases the spear stun by 0.8 seconds means that before any kind of status resist, you're stunning 2 targets potentially for 4.5 seconds. That's pretty nutty, especially if they're stuck to an arena and taking that damage as well. So great performance coming through from Execration and clawing themselves back into maybe not upper bracket contention, but somewhat more safety, and at least we're going to be moving on in one of those 5th to 8th spots.
And for us, I mean, that's just our first series done and dusted. Next up, we got the debut of the new OB Neon roster, and that's going to be so exciting. 2 ex-Army Geniuses players will be versing their old teams as well. So, I mean, we're going to have our second series coming up shortly. It's going to be incredibly exciting. Don't go anywhere.